What is going on, my broskiis? My name is Toadskii, back again, here to bring you guys yet another One Piece Treasure Cruise video, and today we're here with another one team versus all 10-star Garp challenge videos. And as you can see today, we're here with Super Type Sabo, which I was lucky enough to pull, if you guys didn't see, at the very end of my second video of the Kid and Hawkins banner. We actually did get our hands on this guy, which is so cool. So we are only missing Sugo Fest exclusive Kid right now. He's the only legend that I am missing on my account, but I digress. Let's talk about today's video. Now, as I said, we are going to be focusing in on the Super Type Sabo, and this is the team that we're going to be using in order to clear all 10-star difficulties, and it does clear all of the Chopper Man missions to give you, you know, the ones for clearing the strength team, for clearing all of the bosses. So this team here isn't going to be utilizing double Sabo, mind you. This is going to be utilizing a Douglas Bullet friend captain. So that is the whole target goal here. Now, there are no real key support characters. Obviously, the better the stats, the better. However, there is one support character that is pretty good, which is the one attached to Don Krieg and Gin, which is the support of version 1 Akainu, which if you attach it to a strength unit and then that unit uses a damage dealing or health cutting special, it gives you a full board of strength orbs, or it gives full board of strength orbs, or your strength characters get strength slots, but it also gives your strength characters a slight attack boost as well, which is pretty awesome. So as I said, we are running Douglas Bullet as the friend captain, which means there's no attack booster on this team. So having the Akainu support means that when we do launch the Don Krieg and Gin special, we get a pretty big boost out of that. So anyways, let's go ahead and get into the video showcasing the brand new Super Type Sabo. So jumping straight into things, we are going to be going, of course, against the Doflamingo Challenge first. Now, the reason why I decided to run Douglas Bullet as the friend captain, which I'm sure is a question that some of you guys may have out there. So I did try out double Sabo. It wasn't this exact team. I switched some characters around, but what I found is that Sabo's special wasn't always effective. And I mean, look, you can just look at him on paper and you can tell that his special ability isn't going to be very useful all the time. Of course, because he's a color affinity booster only for strength units, right? And he, with his captain effect, is only boosting strength units. So that's quite restrictive. So anything that is not a dex enemy is going to be a little bit of a problem for him to basically, I wouldn't say to kill, but to deal a lot of damage to them. It is a little bit more difficult for Sabo to do that compared to Snake Man, which can reach a consistent 5 times multiplier, and he can boost anyone, Snake Man, when you just compare the two, right? So that's obviously a big problem. So that's why I decided to come up with utilizing Bullet instead, because one of the great benefits that Bullet has that I'm sure many of you guys are accustomed to is the super effective against all types. And Sabo is just amazing with Bullet. Like, this is one of the reasons why Sabo, I guess, could still be used, is because we have someone like Bullet. If Bullet was any other color, then like Sabo would be a useless Sugo Fest exclusive, in my personal opinion. I think he would honestly be one of the worst characters in the game. However, the fact that we have access to Douglas Bullet does make this guy just a little bit better. Of course, because when you use the special ability to get the amazing 2x color affinity boost, it makes Douglas Bullet super effective damage do more damage, of course, which is really good. And another really cool thing is that Sabo obviously is a chain boosting captain, and with Douglas Bullet, you want, you know, the most damage possible with him. You want to make sure that he is attacking last, and if you've got a chain boosting captain, your last hit is going to be hitting exponentially more harder compared to, you know, the characters that started the chain off. And of course, when you activate his special ability, or Sabo that is, it gives you the color affinity turn 1, and then if you hit your perfect, you get the color affinity in the following turn, so you can have multiple turns of color affinity. But it also gives you that chain boost in the following turn as well, with the clock timer debuff, whatever it's called, or buff. So that's a really cool effect that he has. So, you know, turn 1, you know, you get color affinity, that's cool, but in the following turn, you get color affinity again, and you get a pretty wicked chain boost. And then you've got his super type special on top of that, which you do need a Luffy, a Koala, I think Hack as well, and a Rebecca. Now, in this instance here, we're actually using Rebecca. It's kind of funny because when I was changing around some characters, I originally did have a Luffy on this team, and then I just totally forgot about adding a character. I already had Viva Rebecca still on the team, and then I entered the fight, and it said I had my super type special active. I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot, Viva Rebecca is actually a unit, and like, you need Rebecca, or a Rebecca, to get the super type special ability to activate. So that's awesome. It actually worked out quite well. It was definitely not on purpose, because I was mainly going to be using a Luffy instead, but hey, you know, it still got the job done, which is pretty cool. This stage here against Treble is actually a little bit scary. I wanted to save Bullet Special for the last stage. It is kind of annoying because when I have been making a lot of these videos and I do utilize the Gin and Don Krieg character, who are just an exceptional rare recruit, you know, they remove a lot of the debuffs in this stage and they give you the orb boost, but unfortunately, the AoE damage that they provide isn't enough to kill the guys in the back, which with a lot of other specials, even if it's not a lot of damage, typically you can kill the characters in the back pretty easily, but they have like just enough defense to block the damage from the Gin and Don Krieg. I think, you know, if you had a really high power support character, maybe that'll give you enough damage, because in this instance I had the Akainu instead. So yeah, I don't know, that probably was the issue, but I'm not really too sure. But because Doflamingo at the end here is a Dex character, absolutely no problems whatsoever. So I'll catch you guys back once we reach the Revolutionary Army Garb challenge. So the next challenge is against the Revolutionary Army. Once again, of course, we're using the exact same team. Now, moving on to this stage, one thing that I was really worried about was reaching the final boss stage, and of course, you're inflicted with, I think it's 3 or 5 turns of burn, and you get dealt 3,000 damage per perfect. Now, I have no one on this team that can remove burn, and the funny thing with Sabo being a chain boosting captain is you typically want to be hitting your perfects to get the higher chain boost. So that was going to be a little bit of a hurdle to jump over. However, we are able to get through it because of the amazing specials that we have. Of course, Douglas Bullet helps out a lot, and of course, Gin and Don Krieg, which can give us that orb boost, which again is very, very nice. And I think, if I remember correctly, I do actually go ahead and use the Sabo special on the second last stage, so that when we move into the final boss stage, we actually get a chain boost as well as having color affinity for our Douglas Bullet. So that's like the combo that we're using there in order to break through. So yeah, that combination of Douglas Bullet and Sabo worked so well in this fight. And another really cool thing that I think is kind of overlooked with Sabo's captain effect is every time you hit a perfect, you actually heal back for half of his recovery, which I would have definitely preferred to try and run double Sabo, which would have given me additional recovery. So utilizing the Moby Dick ship would have been a little bit better. I guess that's something we can talk about as well. The Moby Dick ship is the ship of choice here. I tried a couple of different ships and I wasn't really too sure which one I wanted to go for, but I felt like the Moby Dick was kind of like the best choice, because even if I am able to recover back a lot of my HP, like in this instance here, like we have so much room to play with. Even if we do tank a couple of hits, we are able to mitigate some of that damage with the switchability of Gin and Don Krieg, which is pretty nice. And then, of course, sometimes we do need to stall. I think in every single one of these clips here, we are stalling on one of the stages to ensure that we have a certain special back. So having the switchability of Vivi Rebecca for heals and then the Gin and Don Krieg for damage reduction, really nice combination. And then, of course, because Douglas Bullet, he boosts Strength, Int, and Quick, and then you've got Sabo who only boosts Strength, meaning that when we have Vivi up and then when we have Gin up, they're going to be doing less damage, so we can actually hit perfects with those guys to get just a little bit of health back. Vivi Rebecca also have pinch healing, and so does Sabo actually, so that, you know, once we are at really, really low HP thresholds, we can try and hit perfects with those guys to get some pinch healing, to get some additional recovery back. So, you know, all of these things in tandem just allow us to reduce a lot of damage, get specials back when we need them, and also I think I did actually go ahead and use the super type special there, so that tap timing bonus damage is really freaking good, and that's actually one of the key components as to how we're actually able to clear the Whitebeard challenge. I did actually do a couple of different recordings of the Whitebeard challenge, and you know, I got to that last stage and there just wasn't enough damage because I was using the super type special a little earlier on in the fight. So by changing the way I use my specials, we actually did use the super type special on the final stage, and it was enough damage to enable us to kill. So it does really make a big difference, that super type special, which not only gives you the tap timing bonus damage, mind you, it also gives you a 1.25 times chain multiplier boost. Now, the chain multiplier boost that you get from Sabo's super type special is the exact same type of boost that Sanji and Judge give you when you use their switch ability. So that's a really nice effect where, you know, every time you hit a perfect, normally you're boosting your chain by 0.3. So that 1.25 boost is actually multiplying that 0.3. So each perfect you hit, you're getting a much higher damage increase step compared to what you would normally. And then if you add a chain boost on top of that, it makes your chain go up by a very, very significant margin. Now, in this team as well, we do have a character such as the Rare Recruit, oh, not the Rare Recruit, sorry, the Colosseum NL, which is a really nice utility unit that is obviously meant for the Whitebeard challenge, of course. But you got to be careful, because if you use his special ability, he does remove 5 turns of chain lock. So yeah, you have to be very, very careful with that. And of course, with Vivi Rebecca, Vivi Rebecca is... you have both positives and negatives while using them, because if you know, when you use the switch effect, you get a 2.5 chain lock. But Sabo as a captain is a chain booster, so you typically don't want to do that too much. But the good thing about Sabo is that his base boost, his base attack boost, is a 4 times boost, and then he has the chain multiplier on top of that. So even if you have a 2.5 chain lock with a 4 times captain, that's still pretty good. You know, that's still going to get you through a lot of bosses, no problem whatsoever. Especially when we have the friend captain Douglas Bullet, which is super effective against all types with a 4.75 boost to himself. Obviously, he's really, really good. But anyways, I'll leave you guys with this, and we'll catch up once we get to the Whitebeard challenge. And now we make it to the Whitebeard challenge, which was actually the most difficult piece of content for this team to clear. I thought that the Doflamingo one would have been a little bit more difficult, because, you know, the stage prior can be like a little bit annoying with Barto and then the treble, and especially the stage where you have the 6 characters. That is kind of annoying, and actually was a little bit annoying to get through, I will admit, but this was definitely the most annoying. This was the pinnacle. This just absolutely sucked, because there were like 2 or 3 times prior to this clip that you're seeing where I made it to the boss stage, and I just tried different combinations of specials where I used some specials earlier and then some specials later, and then I'd switch around the way that specials would work, and I just couldn't find the right combination that would allow me to get the right amount of damage on the final boss stage in order to kill the Whitebeard and the Ace. And the thing was, the really big problem was I wanted to really use Douglas Bullet on the final boss stage, but at the same time, if I use that, I don't have any orb boost, I don't have any way to get matching orbs. Like, it's really risky doing it that way. So the way that I end up doing it, I feel like was probably the safest way, and it's the way to get through it, probably the easiest. And we're actually using the Douglas Bullet special against Jozu. I think it's just the Vivi Rebecca special and the Bullet special, and that's all we need for that for the stage against Jozu, which is a really scary stage, because if you don't kill him and he falls below 50%, he then applies Threshold afterwards, which at that point you just lose, unless if you have some sort of way to remove the Threshold on top of everything that you have. So yeah, the Jozu stage can be a little bit of a hurdle to get over, and then especially after that with Vista and Marco, which they don't have a lot of HP, but they've got more HP compared to the bosses that you were fighting previously, so they also can be a little bit of a problem to deal with. But then again, once you get over that hurdle of Marco and Vista, and you reach Ace and Whitebeard at the very end, typically in most teams, if you reach the final boss stage against Ace and Whitebeard, you're gonna win, so long as you have, you know, at least a special or 2 ready to go. But in this instance here, you know, it was just about finding the right combination, which we were able to do so eventually, which was quite nice. This stage here with the Ezo is always a little bit of a scary one as well, because Fossa at the back can be on a 2, 3, or 4 turn cooldown. And in most cases, if he is on a 2-turn cooldown, that's going to be the end of your run, because he hits very hard. I think he does like 30,000 damage with his attack, so you got to be very careful. But that actually wasn't that big of a problem. Of course, on the stage prior, we were stalling for our specials, and we're able to get some matching orbs before reaching the Ezo stage. So by the time we reach the Ezo stage, and we just do our normal attacks with our matching orbs, and we use the right effects, we're able to just tear through the Speed Jiro and the Ezo. I mean, Ezo being Dex, we have full type advantage there, so that was not a problem. The Speed Jiro could have been a little bit of a problem, and that's where I was previously using my tap timing bonus there to help us get through that stage. And then I also tried using tap timing bonus against the Vista and Marco, but then I realized that you couldn't anyway, because you got normal attacks only, so obviously problems there. but we ended up using the super type special on the final stage, which was fine. But yeah, because Bullet is the friend captain being super effective, we're just able to use Bullet's normal attacks to get through speed 0 without a problem. And then of course, because we kill Izo so quickly, we can then focus a bit of extra damage on Fossa, and then we can kill him because we did previous stalling on the Atmos stage, because all of our characters are rainbow, or just about, and we have lots of recovery bind resistance, which makes us able to get through the Atmos's attack, where he just gives us like 10 to 15 turns of recovery bind, which in a lot of cases is going to suck, but a lot of characters have recovery bind resistance, which is pretty good. And another thing as well is on the final stage, you get inflicted with slot bind to your top and bottom row. But luckily here we do have the Gin and Don Krieg, which resist it, and then both Bullet and Sabo have slot bind resistance, so that's epic. So we can just get rid of it, and then we have matching orbs with the support effect of Akainu on the Gin and Don Krieg. We have the orb boost, and then we're also using the Sabo, which unfortunately we do get the strength characters removed color affinity. If we actually had the color affinity active here, it would have been so over, just because we just have color affinity with Bullet. He just hits super effective, and it's not a problem at all. But we do it so that we can have the chain boost in the following turn, and then we use the super type special on the final turn to get both chain boosting effects, which is enough damage to break through. But hopefully you guys enjoyed this video today, and if you guys did enjoy it, make sure you go ahead and hit the like button. And if you want to stay up to date with all the content that I post on my channel, including more One Piece Treasure Cruise content, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. But on that, guys, I'll see you guys within the next video.